Welcome to the Stephen Jesus Show, brought to you by sportingdebate.com, where the fans can go and debate, where the fans can go and argue, and where you get yourself some amazing articles. And hey, you even get yourself some good deals, maybe for Reebok, maybe for Adidas. You never know. Go check them out, sportingdebate.com. And listen, I still think it should be the Jesus and Steve show. I'm just saying, for whatever reason, they decided I'm making it the Stephen Jesus show. Whatever, I have to deal with it. As long as I'm getting my paycheck at the end.
It's because I'm better than you, but we'll leave it at that, okay?
Stop it. I'm happy to be back. I know you're happy to be back. We're no longer up north in the Garden State. We have now relocated. Sport of the Bay was generous enough to relocate us to the Sunshine State of Florida.
Absolutely. I'm loving it.
I'm telling you. I am too. I'm a New York fan, and I always will be, but I'm never moving back over there. I'm hoping I never have to because I love it out here.
Yeah, well, the bosses could send you back up there, so let's be honest.
Let's hope, please, that they don't. Please, guys, don't do that. With that being said, let's get right to it. We have so much to debate about. Let's get right to it. We're going to start off with the whole DeAndre Jordan debacle. Just to go ahead and give you guys a quick recap, he agrees to go to the Mavs, holds up, ties up their cap, gives them the verbal agreement. Then all of a sudden, 2 days before he's able to sign, he backs out, calls Doc Rivers, tells Doc Rivers, hey, I want to go back to the Clippers. The Clippers then send a whole bunch of players, the coach over there, to go to his house, and supposedly, which ended up being a false rumor, they didn't let anybody in. That wasn't true at all. And he decides to go to the Clippers, and the Mavs are left with nobody because they tied up all their cap thinking they were going to get DeAndre Jordan. Steve, my man, what do you think about that?
This is crazy, and first thing I have to say, it's partially nobody's fault, if that makes any sense, and here's why. All right, let's look at the Clippers side. The Clippers came in with let's be honest, a subpar offer. They didn't address the things that DeAndre Jordan wanted. All right, they came in there, they're like, hey, we're gonna do this a little bit differently. But at the end of the day, and if you read the reports that are out there and listen to what's being said, he didn't feel wanted, right? And he felt like, nothing was going to change partially. So then, okay, he decides to go for free agency. He gets out there, and all the other teams come in. They give, they go to his agent's office, give a subpar presentation of, here's what we're going to do, here's how we're going to market you, here's how we're going to, get these people to vote for you in the All-Star game, and he didn't want to hear that. And at the end of the day, it was the Mavericks, Mr. Cuban, who understood him, right? And he wines him, and he dines him, and he flies him everywhere. He sends his forward, I forgot his name, and Jesus would know, but
Chandler Parsons.
Chandler Parsons and him. They're buddy and buddy. We're FaceTiming each other. Hey, how are you doing, buddy? Let me show you this. Let me take you here. Let me take you to this club. They wine and dine him, and he's feeling great. He's feeling fantastic, right? So he gives a verbal when Cuban lands and at his place and sits with his family and whatnot. They talk, they go walk off apparently together. This is reported, of course. They talk privately together, and he gives the verbal commitment. He's like, you know what? I thought about it. I'm going. So they celebrate. Cuban's crying. His mother's crying. Everybody's crying everywhere, and they're excited. And then they fly away, and something happens. Something happens within those 3 days. And all of a sudden, he has a change of heart. He thinks about it. He sits. Nobody's whining and dining him anymore. Now he's feeling some type of way, and he's like, oh, maybe I want to go back to the Clippers. So at the end of the day, whether he calls Doc Rivers or Doc Rivers calls him, I know Dallas fans would say Doc Rivers called him, but Jesus, you've confirmed that, have you?
I can confirm it was DeAndre Jordan that called Doc Rivers. Yes.
Exactly. So point being is, this is not anybody's fault but DeAndre Jordan's, all right? At the end of the day, it's Jordan's fault. It wasn't Dallas did everything right. Dallas played their cards right. They did the whole recruiting process right. And from what I read, I would have said yes to Dallas. If you're telling me you came in with the meeting with stats and showing how you're being used and how they're going to use you and how they're going to pump up those stats and make you into a superstar player, and they have a process and already a scheme on how to do that with you, on top of that, they're giving you the money you wanted, and They've told you they're going to market you as well. So they're doing all the things you wanted. Everything you asked for, they're giving it to you. And then all of a sudden you have a change of heart because you have some friends in LA and you built this life in LA. I get it, man, but come on. You know what I mean? You had everything you asked for, and then all of a sudden you change. That's on you, DeAndre Jordan. And then for the Clippers, I can't blame the Clippers. I can't blame Ballmer. Because if I'm Ballmer and he's being shifty, I'm going to jump. I'm going to jump on it. I don't know about you, Jesus. And I'll pass it back to you, but I'm doing whatever is necessary to keep the guy on my team as well. So I can't blame them.
I'm going to be very clear with this, okay? And I'm not a Mavs fan, and I'm not a Clippers fan. I'm a New York Knicks fan. So let's get that straight right now. I have no ties to this. Fact of the matter is, and I'm sorry, producers, if I'm wrong for saying this on air, and I don't think I'm allowed to, but I'm going to say it anyways. They can bleep it out if they need to. The Mavs got screwed on this.
Yeah.
Okay, the Mavs absolutely got screwed on this. Then the Clippers. Everybody that's criticizing the Clippers did nothing wrong here. Okay? I am a strong believer that as a GM, as a coach, as an owner, if you're not doing everything possible to improve your team, then you're doing your fans an injustice. So if a player calls you of the caliber of a DeAndre Jordan and says, I want to come back, and he has not signed a contract, you're not breaking any rules. I'm sick of that whole unwritten rule stuff. You know where that comes from? That's a baseball term. And we're going to get into baseball later.
Yeah.
But that's what old people say. That's what sore losers say. Listen, there wasn't a paper signed. Doc Rivers did not call him first.
Exactly.
So if Doc Rivers did not call him first and he called Doc Rivers has and I don't like Doc Rivers. Let's get that very straight right now. All right, he's put me through a lot of heartaches in my past. But the fact of the matter is he went out there, he followed the rules, he didn't break any rules, he simply received a phone call, and that phone call said, I think I made a mistake.
Yeah.
And by saying that, he pounced. And that, whose fault at the end of the day? If you're Mark Cuban, you should have never given DeAndre Jordan a chance to get cold feet.
You're absolutely right.
Never given him a chance to get cold feet.
And here's the other flip side, and this is what I would tell people, It's like buying a house, man, all right? You can commit. You have that selling offer, and you put in that offer, and they say, hey, we accept. But there's a 15-day period where that seller can be like, you know what? That hole in the attic, I don't know if I want to buy this place anymore. And that's what happened with DeAndre Jordan. He took that time period, which he was given, those 3 days, and he flipped. He had buyer's remorse, and he's like, you know what? I don't like it. Something's wrong with it. I'm going to pull my offer out. And that's what he did. And you can't blame him. Until you sign that piece of paper, you belong to no one. And I'm sorry, Mavericks fans. I seen the World Star Hip Hop video with the guy yelling into the video, expressing his feelings on how he feels about DeAndre Jordan. But the facts are facts. Until you sign that paper, nothing matters, my friend. I'm sorry.
And to be honest, I truly feel bad for the Mavs in this case because, again, that was a lot of cap space that was being held up there.
It was.
They could have gotten a Robin Lopez. They could have went after Greg Monroe. There's a lot of guys they could have gone after, and they didn't because they thought they had DeAndre Jordan on lock.
Yep.
Now it's time for me to go ahead and hurt somebody's feelings.
Oh, snap.
DeAndre Jordan, what you did was classless, immature, an absolute disgrace to the profession of the NBA. Because if you give someone your word, if you can't be trusted on your own word, then what can you be trusted by? And let's make this very clear. He didn't go back to LA because he had cold feet, because he was like, well, I like Doc Rivers. You know why he went back to LA? He went back to LA for two reasons. Number one was marketing, and number two, he knows he can't score the basketball without Chris Paul setting him up. He didn't have a point guard in Dallas, ladies and gentlemen. He didn't have that point guard. So if he doesn't have the point guard in Dallas to set him up, then he is literally a 5 points, 12 rebound guy. What is that? Is that a max contract guy? It wasn't. So I think in the long term for Dallas, yes, they saw DeAndre Jordan as the next Tyson Chandler when they beat the Miami Heat in the NBA Finals that 1 year. You have the Tyson Chandler playing the defense and getting the rebounds. You had Dirk Nowitzki, Jason Kidd. You have these guys, the other guys scoring the ball. I get it. I understand that. But Dallas fans, he's not worth a max contract. And again, if a player is that classless to give you his word and step back out of his word, then you don't want that kind of that character on your team. That's something you move on from. Let the Clippers go ahead and deal with that. And there's a reason, ladies and gentlemen, why the Clippers have never made it to the NBA Finals. There's a reason why. Because that team has maturity issues. Everybody praises Doc Rivers about how great of a coach he is. I don't have a problem with what Doc Rivers did. Let me make this very clear. But Doc Rivers, I'm going to say it right now, is not that great of a head coach. He's not that great of a head coach. The guy...
Especially when you're up in a series 3-1 against the Houston Rockets. I'm sorry. You shouldn't have lost that series.
Absolutely. And people forget, you know the one championship that he has? Last I checked, he had a guy by the name of Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce, Ray Allen, Rajon Rondo. So did he really win that championship, or did the veteran leadership of that? Because other than that, what has he really done? He hasn't really done anything else. So Doc Rivers is an overrated head coach. I will say that. He is overrated. He is not that good of a head coach. He's not a bad head coach. He can win a championship with a roster, but he needs the leadership. And that's why he went out and he got Paul Pierce this summer. Because he knew, hey, listen, I can't do this all by myself. I need someone else to get ahead and give me the leadership. That's why the year before he tried to get Kevin Garnett. Because he knows he's not capable of doing it on his own. Again, I'm sorry if I'm hurting people's feelings. I'm speaking facts.
Yeah.
Go ahead. You want to close it out? Go ahead.
No, the only thing that I want to say is look at Jordan's track record, too, as well, with agents. He's already on his third agent because of some of the same things we're already seeing, So he's already shown that before. I mean, it's been reported that he bought friends elaborate gifts and then had like second thoughts on him and returned the gifts. So if he's doing that, buying gifts,
you don't want that. You don't want that.
Yeah, I mean, come on, Dallas, you're better off. Trust me, you're better off. And Cuban, I don't blame you. I don't blame you for not wanting to say his name. I don't blame you from erasing him from your memory. I don't blame you at all.
Dallas, you got Deron Williams. You got Wesley Matthews. Hopefully he's healthy. You have Dirk Nowitzki. You have Chandler Parsons. Go get yourself JaVale McGee. Go get yourself a big man that can just defend, a Samuel Dalembert. You'll be all right. You don't need that. At the end of the day, I will say this. There's a reason why the Clippers will never win a championship. Maybe they can this year because Paul Pierce's leadership, but I still don't think they will. I'm just going to go ahead and say that. I don't think they will. So, yeah, I'm not putting my money on them. And pressure bust pipes, and at the end of the day, you saw what happened to DeAndre Jordan.
Yes.
Kitchen got hot. He left. He
folded.
ran. You don't want that. Exactly. You don't want that. With that being said, let's go. Let's kick it off. We have one quick word from our sponsors in sportandDebate.com. Go check them out. We'll be right back. Don't go nowhere.
Sport and Debate is more than just a website or a podcast to me. It's a platform for all fans, from the diehard to the casual, to come together and embrace their love and their passion for sports. And I think that's what separates us from the rest. We love that passion, and we're ready to embrace the debate.
Wow. Oh, man, that was kind of deep.
That hit me in the right spot, man.
I mean, I'm just saying, I'm ready to run through a brick wall right now for Sport and Debate. Hold on, wait a minute. Hold on. With that being said, we got one more topic we got to talk to you fans about, and that is the MLB All-Star Game that just happened. It was a really good game. I actually enjoyed it. Aroldis Chapman, I mean, that guy just throws heat. 103 miles per hour? 103 miles per hour? I wouldn't even be able to see that ball, let alone swing at it. That's just crazy. But we're not going to talk necessarily about the talent. We're going to talk about the rules. Why does this have to determine home field advantage for the World Series? I'm of the mindset where shouldn't your record determine that, not an All-Star game, Steve? I know you've been dying to go ahead and get at this one. So what you got?
This is crazy because, I mean, I get what they're trying to do. I get it. MLB, you're trying to make it relevant. You're trying to be the anti-NFL where you're just putting up a game where everybody just kind of like, well, I don't have anything to do this Sunday night, so I mean, I guess I'll watch it, I get what you're trying to do. You're trying to make it important. You're trying to make it impactful, and I get that. But with that being said, that should not determine home field advantage for the World Series. I'm sorry. I mean, you have teams that have put their sweat, blood, and tears into it, and you may have, now it's not happening this year, but you may have a team that, like, breaks the record and wins. And if you have that team break the record and wins, just to tell them, hey, by the way, when you make it to the World Series, you're not getting home field advantage. I'm sorry, you're doing something extremely wrong. It should be given to the team who has the best record, period, just like they do it in every single sport. And I'm sorry, baseball fans. I know you guys love your tradition and blah, 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 and this, that, and the other, and you don't like to change stuff and this, that. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Put a pitch count on it, all right? Put a clock, and you got to change this rule with the All-Star. Jesus, I leave it to you, man.
Listen, you don't want to leave it to me. Again, I'm going to hurt people's feelings. Baseball just always finds a way to get it wrong these days. They always find a way to get it wrong. I mean, you're going to tell me that you're going to let an exhibition game determine home field advantage. I'm gonna take a phrase from the Rocky movie. This is supposed to be an exhibition.
Exactly.
An exhibition. This is not supposed to mean anything. It's supposed to be a bunch of players, the top talent of players, getting together and having fun that one time in the year where they're able to be, because you just want to get away from the grind. But now you're putting the pressure back on the play. Baseball has this so wrong because you want this game to mean something, right? But yet you go and you pay homage to a guy that you won't even allow to be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I know.
But yet he's part of a game that's going to determine the home field advantage in a World Series game. But this is a guy who bet on games, and that's why you won't allow him. It boggles my mind how baseball always finds a way to get it wrong. And it gets me so angry. It's so ridiculous. Baseball got bailed out, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. Let me make this very clear. The home run derby, everybody said about how great it was because there was a clock on it. They got bailed out. They did put a clock on it, which was a step in the right direction.
Yes.
But they actually wanted to do 5 minutes per at-bat for the home run derby. Because of a possible rain delay, they cut it down to 4 minutes. And that was still too long.
Yes.
Really, they should have done 3 minutes per at-bat.
Yes.
So you're telling me that they got it right. They didn't get it right purposely. They got it right by accident.
Yes.
That's the only reason why they got it right. But I don't understand how an exhibition game can determine home field. I mean, we're talking about a World Series championship. I'm a Yankee fan, and I'm telling you this right now. If my Yankees end up playing a team with the worst record in them, and say, for example, they wouldn't have had home field advantage, I would have been furious. I would have been
Absolutely.
irate. It's just not right. It's not
Could
fair.
you imagine if they did that with a basketball game, the All-Star basketball game? Hey, by the way, guys, you're going to play this one game, and it's going to determine your whole series in the NBA. It'd be crazy.
I got one better for you. What about if they did the Pro Bowl in the NFL determines who gets the home field advantage in football? Exactly. But as always, baseball always finds a way to get it wrong. And I'm sick of you purists, all right? I'm sorry. Listen, you old heads, and I'm exactly what I'm calling you guys right now. You old heads, the problem with you guys is you guys don't like change. And that's why your sport is always lagging behind, because you need to get over it. Change is inevitable. Change is how you grow. Change is how you get better. And if you refuse to take change and you refuse to get better, that's why your sport will continue to be in the bottom. In the bottom, in the basement. I mean, hockey is more entertaining these days than baseball is, and that's a shame. That's sad.
It is.
That's very sad.
It really is. And on top of that, I mean, you have, even with the games itself, people are they're not watching it as much because it is lagging. It's getting boring for the new fan. I've been preaching that they need to put a clock, and they've moved towards the right direction. Like you said, they did it for the home run derby. But let's get a little bit, a little bit of the ball effect going and have it snowball, because, I mean, if you continue to be a purist and have this game be an old school, I'm sorry, you're going to lose fans. You're going to lose.
I want to make this very clear. I would like to see a 13-second time between pitches.
Yeah.
13 seconds. And if the batter doesn't step back in the box within 13 seconds, it's a strike.
Yep.
If the pitcher doesn't throw the ball within 13 seconds, it's a ball.
Simple
and you should
enough.
only be able to throw to first base once within an at-bat.
Yep.
That's it. One time and one time only. Enough, baseball. Enough. The game is too long. You always get it wrong. I was hoping with this new commissioner, he would start getting things right, and he's still new. So I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt that maybe he's still learning. But he has to get things right.
Yeah.
Now, we have one more surprise topic. I was just went in my ear. So, Steve, you and I, we're just going to get ahead, and we're going to have to go with the flow on this.
That works.
Pete Rose. Pete Rose being honored. Pete Rose being honored but not being in the Hall of Fame. What is that?
All right.
What is that about?
Here, I don't understand. I don't understand what MLB is, what message they're sending. Because every writer you talk to, every baseball fan is like, you don't put him in there. He gambled. He broke the cardinal rule of gamble. You just can't put him in. But then you put a tribute for him and you parade him around on a game that means something. Come up. Put him in then. Put him in the Hall of Fame. Get it over with. Put him in. Put all the steroid guys in. Put them all in. I've been preaching this last time. I said this on the podcast many years ago. I see your face. I see you doing this. But I stand where I did way back then. Put them all in. You know what? Barry Bonds in. Put them in. Put them all in. That's my fight.
I understand why you're saying you want to let the steroids people in, which to me is absolutely absurd. But fine, you want that, I will give you that. You're telling me to put in a guy that bet on baseball games, bet in games that he played in.
Why are you
bet against?
Why are you putting a tribute for him
that he played in?
Why are you parading him around?
That's not what I'm asking you. I would repeat myself one more time for you. Do you think Pete Rose should be in the Hall of Fame, knowing that he bet on games, knowing that he bet with games that he played in, knowing that he bet against himself in games that he played in?
All right, now knowing that information, no, I wouldn't put him in there. And before, I did say that I would because it was understood that he did not bet on his own games. Or, I mean, if he did, he always bet on himself, something like that. And I got it. And I was like, all right, that makes sense. If you bet on yourself the whole time. But they've proven that he did otherwise. So that is a major problem because now those games that maybe, hey, they should have won, now we can have that debate in our minds like, hey, maybe he threw that game because he had some money riding on it, or maybe he was going to pay off, and who knows how many other teammates were in on that gambit too. So you have to consider that as well. So yeah, you can't put him in there. But then if you found this information out, why, as Major League Baseball, would you put him and put a tribute to him in front of everybody saying, here's Pete Rose, yay, clap for him? Why would you do that, Jesus? Please tell me, because I can't figure this out.
Because baseball always finds a way to get it wrong. Baseball always finds a way to get it wrong. They don't know how to do anything right. They can't get anything right. And until they have a commissioner, and again, I don't want to give Manfred a hard time and say he's horrible. He's still new. He's still learning. But he's doing the same mistake Selig did. And to me, Selig was probably, I will say, the worst commissioner in all of sports. Yes, I think he's worse than Gary Bettman. Yes, I do. Yes, he's worse than Bettman.
Wow.
And I know that's saying a lot. I know, Steve, you probably disagree with me being a hockey fan yourself.
Yes.
But I think he's worse than Bettman. But the guy, yes, I understand he hit the ball and he hit a lot and he was the greatest hitter of all time. Yes, but he still bet on the game. And in every clubhouse, that's a rule that's right there in every single clubhouse in Major League Baseball. And he managed the team. He was a player manager for his own team, and he still gambled. And that's a guy, when you're a manager, you're supposed to set the example. You're supposed to be the example, and he wasn't able to be the example. And that's why, to me, he shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame. That's why, to me, baseball shouldn't be honoring him because you're contradicting yourself.
Yeah.
You're saying you can't go to the Hall of Fame, but we'll still honor you. What? That doesn't make any sense. But then you won't even allow him to manage in baseball. Well, you won't let him be a manager in baseball, but yet you'll let him be honored in an all-star game that determines World Series. Baseball is so ridiculous. Baseball is so dumb. I'm going to say it. They're so dumb. They haven't decided to put a salary cap in the sport.
No.
The players – I mean, did you see Giancarlo Stanton's contract, $300 million?
Yeah, it's crazy.
$300 million for a baseball player when football players, Des Bryant was just celebrating today because he just signed a $70 million contract.
Peanuts.
And exactly. And I mean, to me, those are guys that deserve $300 million. Football players, baseball players, really?
Yeah.
Baseball players? Look. One last statement here, baseball, and this is for all you old heads. Get over yourself. Make changes. Improve. because this is a sport that's dying, and it's dying fast. And this is a sport that I loved. I used to stand outside of Yankee Stadium when I was young, and I used to wait for somebody to give me tickets so I can get into the bleacher seats. Anybody that wasn't going to go to the games,
Wow.
And I have no interest anymore. I can't even sit through a whole game anymore because they've taken the fun out of the game.
They have. Yeah, they
And
really
one
have.
last thing. Shout out to my man Alex Rodriguez, who should have been in the All-Star game this year. Should have been in the All-Star game. He's playing that good. He's playing my cousin is playing that good.
And that's why
That's all I got to say about that.
and that's why you need to put him in the Hall of Fame. Just ending it there. I was just ending it there.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's our show. We were back. We hope you enjoyed it. Yes, Steve and I agreed a couple times today. Listen, every once in a while, we have some nice camaraderie and we get along. Don't expect that on every show, though, because this guy 95% of the time is wrong.
No,
I'm right 100% of the time.
I know I'm right. Thank you. Thank you for acknowledging my rightness.
With that being said, thank you guys. Again, make sure you guys all tune into sportanddebate.com. Go check out the website. Go check out the articles. Go debate. Go argue. I will continue to give you guys update and breaking news on anything that's happening in the NBA, NFL. We will keep you updated always. Sport and Debate, we thank you guys so much for this, and I thank you so much for having me be in the Sunshine State. Please don't send me back up north. Please don't send me back. With that being said, we are out. Steve, go clean up your house. We are out.
See ya.
Peace.